Ladies and gentlemen. So recently, Angelina got her limited 6-star altar. And much like previous limited banner, they also featured a new standard 6-star. Meet Thumpy, a new character and the other 6-star beside Angie altar. And today we're going to see what this bunny can do. So you can better judge whether to aim for her or not.
唐辛子は味付けに使うだけじゃないんだからね。シュー!
Okie dokie, Thumpy is our second 6-star primal defender after you. But unlike him, Thumpy is focused on corrosion elemental injury. Global dwellers don't have this thing yet. But it is basically the same as the enemy version. And can be a useful tool to chisel out enemy defense bit by bit, especially those who are also tough against darts damage. Although Ritualist is often considered the better option for enabling element damage, Primal Defender is also considered the elemental enabler. Because the way they inflict their element injury is based on their attack, and not damage dealt. So it won't be hindered by the enemy's defense or resistance. Anyway, back to Thumpy. Her talent 1 will make her take less element damage. And when dealing physical damage, which is her basic attack and all of her attacks, will deal some percentage of corrosion build-up. And the amount is based on her attack stat. Furthermore, she will reduce the cooldown of her target corrosion burst by 1 second. Which is small, but still good, because there's nothing good in letting enemies be in the corrosion burst state for too long. You want it to end as fast as possible, so you can inflict corrosion burst again, and further reduce the enemy defense. Overall a good talent for an elemental enabler. Although I do complain about how she inflicts her corrosion. Unlike you or Ken, who will inflict their respective element injury to the enemy they're blocking. Thumpy strictly only deals corrosion when she's actually dealing physical damage. So unlike those two, when Thumpy is blocking multiple enemies, she can only attack and deal corrosion damage to one single enemy. At least that is when off skill, but still, you has a better off skill ability than her. Next her talent 2. When Thumpy triggers corrosion burst to someone, she will get a permanent defense and barrier buff, but of course it has limit. This can extremely help her survivability. But the way to obtain it is a bit troublesome. Since Thumpy can only effectively trigger corrosion burst with her skills, and there's a chance weak mobs might be dead first before she finished the element circle. I'm honestly disappointed they don't allow other operators who can also inflict corrosion to help Thumpy get her buff. But no, it must be her who inflicted the corrosion burst to get these buffs. Moving on, let's talk about her skills. Her skill 1 will give her attack and defense buff. And attack multiple enemies equal to block count. And also pushes blocked enemies, but the push force is small, so she will mostly just push trash mob. Well, it's definitely her weakest skill. It lacks firepower, defense, and elemental effectiveness. The push also makes it a bit awkward when you want her to actually flatline the trash mob. Next, skill 2 is definitely her best for general use. It will increase her attack and defense. And apply some tiles ahead with super glue. The glue placement is a bit random, but it will always try to spawn on enemy positions. Anyway, enemies inside this glue will take slow effect, and physical DOT, which also means corrosion damage thanks to Thumpy's talent 1. but it might still not be too effective for applying corrosion build-up. That is why this skill also adds the ability for other physical operators to apply corrosion damage if they attack enemies inside the super glue. The corrosion is based on Thumpy's attack stat. So much like Virtuosa's skill 2, you want to partner her with a fast attacking physical dealer. I personally find the upcoming operator Balone a really good operator to partner, since he's fast and also reduces enemy defense by percentage. Lastly, her skill 3. She weaponized the end field conveyor belt. She will deploy her conveyor belt a straight line ahead, and all enemies inside that have level 4 weight or lower will be forced to move to her position. Not only that, enemies on the conveyor belt will also get physical DOT, which again means corrosion damage, and their defense will be further reduced if they trigger corrosion burst. This conveyor belt can also be used to pull enemies to a hole, and can actually affect invisible enemies. Thumpy herself will get a bunch of buff, like extra block count, attack and defense. Overall a good skill, and that conveyor can be a useful tool. But personally my biggest problem with this skill is the skill cycle. The long duration and cooldown makes the skill somewhat awkward. So ladies and gentlemen, that is Thumpy. What do you think? I think she is a good elemental defender, and is no doubt currently the best corrosion enabler in the game. Her corrosion can significantly help to chisel enemy defense, which is going to be very useful for your physical team. However, she also has some drawbacks like her pretty expensive cost. And as a defender, she's not all tanky. Her main tool of defense, especially against darts damage, is her barrier that is obtained if she successfully triggers a corrosion burst, which may or may not be easy to get. Also, it might be a bit nitpicking, but none of her abilities can affect flying units. So, I think she's good, but the main show in her debut is still Angelina Alter. If you get Angie already, I don't really think Thumpy is a must get. That should be all. Adios.